Hey, Cornbread review off the bat, bro. You might not like my review then, man. Yeah, so all in all, man, I ended up coming up 2.5 out of 5. Two of them things. Yo. 5 out of 5 cornbreads for the cornbread review. What you think?
Yo. Welcome back to another Cornbread Movie review, man. I appreciate y'all. I told y'all every week I'm hitting y'all with bangers, episodes. I even just dropped another TV series, Jupiter's Legacy, so make sure you go check out that. It's on Netflix. But I ain't going to hold y'all time that much more, man. Hey, we're here to talk about... Hold on. Did you subscribe yet? I know y'all be watching. Did you subscribe? If you did, make sure you turn notifications on, hit the bell, turn on all for the bell, okay? So you get all of my reviews coming y'all way, all right? So, and make sure you share it. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, But we're here to talk about Old. Yes. Old is the movie. It just came out fresh off the presses. Couple of housekeeping things. This movie is PG-13, all right? It's an hour and 45 minutes, so it just barely meets my standard of a solid movie. It's only in theaters. It's not on demand or anything just of yet. I understand COVID's still out there, Delta variant's out there, and you guys might not feel safe. But the good thing is a lot of people aren't going to the movies. So if you catch it at the right time, you can get the whole theater to yourself. Just keep your mask on. You'll be good to go. So this movie is a horror thriller film. But we're going to get into all the nitty gritties of this. So if this is the first time you've seen a Cornbread Movie review, I do my reviews in 5 different categories. The best you could get is 5 in each category. So the first category is acting. Who's in this? Alex Wolff. He was in Hereditary. He was also in, I think, Patriots Day. He was the terrorist in Patriots Day. So he's played in some pretty serious roles. Unfortunately for this, other than the adults, the kids kind of had a minor role because you go over the stage of their life. Obviously, we're going to talk about some spoilers in this movie, but I ain't going to tell y'all the movie and how everything goes. But make sure you check it out. So Alex Wolff had a pivotal but kind of small part in this movie. But he does a great job, as always, right? Also Vicky Creeps. She's in this. To me, she was more of the star of the show. The episode or the season the movie really evolved around her situation with health, her situation with the family dynamic and what happened with that. So she does a good job covering the sadness, the apologies, the confusion, the caring of things that are going on, making sure her kids are okay. So to me, the whole cast did a solid job. This is one of those things where I said, if you get the cast and put everybody in the right situation so that they can be successful and capture the most out of that scene, then for me, you're going to get more points than just putting one person in these different scenarios and they can't execute it, right? So great job overall for acting in this category. It gets a 4 out of 5 cornbreads from me, okay? Good job putting people at their strengths and not their weaknesses. So I really enjoyed it. Next category, cinematography. Yes, that is a category. How does it look visually? Is the money there? Are they creative? So, as I said, this movie is an hour and 45 minutes. So the movie length was good enough. You could tell a full story. Doesn't feel incomplete. The budget was $18 million, which isn't pretty high. If you think about all the Marvel movies, it seems like they get 200 million plus each, and Fast and Furious, things like that. So your budget's limited, so you have to be creative, right? So $18 million. This takes place in Anamika Resort, which I Googled it. It's a real place, at least in India. I don't know if they made it seem like this place in the movie, the scene is in India, but it is a real place. Looks beautiful. So great job on scene location. I'm jealous. I wish I could be there. But the downfall to that is this movie is only almost in 2 scenes or 2 different filming locations, right? The beach and then the resort when they're there at first, So if you can make it work, but that doesn't help you out in this category, only having 1 to 2 scenes. So I think they did a good job of growing everybody. Obviously, all these people aren't related, right? But you have to speed up time from people from kids to being adults. So there was nobody that was really a stretch. They kind of looked alike, right? It's not like you have a Hispanic and then the dude's black, right? So it's nothing crazy, but they did a good job on casting so that you at least kind of feel like it is the same person, male and female, growing up, right? So good job for that. I had a couple action scenes. I think they did a good job. It wasn't like they was doing taekwondo or karate out there, but there are a few action scenes that they had to execute, and I think they did that for the most part. Some scenes was a stretch, and we'll get into certain scenes that didn't make sense, but they did the best to me that they could. It was something that kept happening where the crew or the camera guy would film something and it'll be a scene, and as it's happening, the scene would pan off, and the scene's still happening, but then the camera come back, and I'm like, okay, I guess I don't know if that's for like a dramatic effect or what, but okay, you get one, but they did it like 3 or 4 times. So. And certain times there's nothing happening, the screen goes off and then comes back. So to me, it doesn't make sense. Or maybe maybe you guys understand what happened and I missed it. Please let me know in the description box because I didn't get it, and it kind of took points away from me. So overall, in this category, cinematography just gets 3 out of 5 from me. Right? There was no mind-blowing scenes, mind-blowing creativity. Like locations were limited. The budget was limited, so I understand that. But with a small budget, you can still be creative, right? That shouldn't stop the creative process. Or I understand maybe some execution, but for what they were doing, they could have still executed and did everything right. So 3 out of 5 for me on cinematography. Next category, storytelling. It's very tough, man. I love taking vacations, especially going out the country. So when you do that, man, and you don't even speak the same language, you have to. It's a human element. You have to trust people. It's just impossible not to when you travel, especially abroad. So trusting people sometimes isn't always a good thing on vacations, man. And that's kind of what they got into on this situation, right? So what you see in the trailer is a little bit of the concept of the movie. People grow old on this beach and they have to figure out why. So the premise is kind of like 30 minutes is an hour in your lifespan, but you're only on that beach for 30 minutes. And then so obviously an hour is 2 years. So you guys do the math on how fast and how rapidly people are developing and growing older or old for being on this beach. It also shows that obviously you can tell that the kids get older, but the adults stay the same, but then they start getting gray hair, start getting, crow's feet by their eyes. People, they get sick, so they don't have much time, right? 2 to 3 hours for your grandmother or something like that is pivotal compared to being a 6-year-old like the kid was there. That's only, if he's 6, then he turns 8, right? He's just growing. So those times, spending times with your loved ones, and understanding that we take time for granted, that was more one of those hidden gems that we get. So I appreciate that. The concept was kind of strange, but interesting. I had me glued to the seat. I went into this movie like, okay, I already know what happens in this movie in the trailer. But of course, man, we're going to get into who made this movie. It's always some hidden twists or some hidden gems in there. So we definitely going to get into that. The time concept stayed pretty consistent. It was a couple scenes that made no sense. For dramatic effect and maybe for movie, it did make sense, but in the 30 minutes as a year concept, it doesn't make sense, right? So like fire, wind, water, the sun, all that stayed consistent. It was just the people on the beach sped up their time. So that stayed pretty consistent, but things would happen where the time glitch would benefit the scene, but then other things would happen where you're waiting for it to benefit the scene, but it doesn't, right? So a little inconsistencies on that, but I'm not going to knock them too bad on that. And obviously I had a few questions at the end of the movie, kind of like what happened to the other people. And like I said, kids have issues as well, which I'm not going to give away what the moral of the story is or the ending of it, but kids also have issues as well. So I wonder how they try to create ways to better those situations. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, we're going to get into if you should see it or not, right? So storytelling gets a 3.5 out of 5 from me. Pretty solid. It's not the best of the best, but then again, it's not the worst of the worst, right? I've gave people 2 and 2.5 for storytelling. So pretty solid. Now, next category. Did I get what I bought? This category is if I go into a movie and it's a horror or a thriller, is it still a horror or thriller, right? And if it is, how much did I pay for it? If I paid $50 for a horror thriller and it wasn't, I'm going to be mad. Or if I got it for free and I got a horror thriller and didn't get that, then why did I come here, right? That's what I was looking for. So this is what this category is. So it's in theaters, as I said, $13 for a movie ticket. If you go early enough, it might be $10. You could catch a special. And once again, there's nobody in the movie theater. So try to go that if you're still COVID conscious, right? And you can wear your mask, everything is safe like that. We have to give it up. M. Night Shyamalan, man. I think he's very underrated. A lot of people don't like his movies, but me being a content creator, I appreciate your originality. M. Night Shyamalan created Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, old other movies, Devil, which is a sneaky good movie. I really like that movie. I just don't think that he gets his credit or his just due for originality and putting his best foot forward and creating new movies, right? It's easy to make 17 Spider-Mans, but it's hard to make a new superhero, right? So kudos to him. One thing that I had an issue with this movie is the time concept. I was on board, right? But if you have a kid and he goes all the way to, I don't want to give it away, but if he older, like your grandparents, if he end up turning your grandparents, he's speaking like he is that age, which is a problem because life lessons teach you a lot of things, right? That's how we learn. We have to go through life and experience things, breakups, death, happiness, other things that you do when you mature, right? So if you're not experiencing those things, your thought processes would be different. Your reactions would be different. How you handle stuff would be different. So that's the only thing that I kind of had an issue with on this. But like I said, the concept, I was on board. And the ending. We'll talk about the ending real quick. I'm not going to tell you what happened, but I understand the ending, right? I get where they were going. I just don't like it. I like the ending, but what happens in the movie, I don't like that they do that. But it happens all the time. In this world, unfortunately. What they're doing for that beach, it happens all the time. And if you think it doesn't, look it up. Start doing your research on, let's say, cars, other things like that. They do this all the time. Medicine, things like that. So did I get what I bought? I'm going to say 4 out of 5, man. I did some thinking, some soul searching, and, I took a couple of nuggets home. So good job for M. Night Shyamalan. Did I get what I bought? 4 out of 5 on that category for me. Last category, is it a must-see? Yeah, I'm going to say yeah, man. It shows the flaws in the human body. That's another problem that we haven't mastered yet as a world and a human. We haven't mastered the longevity of how we can maximize our health. It's a good change up from your normal movie. I really appreciate that. It's not, like I said, the Avenger movies or the Fast and Furious. Is a good change up, good original movie. And it was a couple jokes in there, a couple racist jokes in there. How we treat people is in there. So I give it a 3.5. Is it a must-see, right? I would have did 4, but there's a couple things that might draw you away from it, like being in theaters. Obviously, the budget might not be high speed for you. You might not like these type of horror thriller movies. More of a thriller than horror. But 3.5 for me is that a must-see. So overall, it gets, in my head, I was thinking it was a 4. But doing the numbers, it's a 3.5 out of 5 Cornbread Movie review. Make sure you check out my 2021 movies, man. We are rolling through this thing. We're getting a lot of things done, man. And trust, I'm working on some things for y'all, man. So Don't think, oh, if I seen one Cornbread movie review, I've seen them all. No, I'm mixing up a couple things. Might do some collabs with a couple of people. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But I'm never going to do a Cornbread movie review without giving you a forgotten segment. If you're new to this, a forgotten segment is I'm going to give y'all a movie that maybe you haven't heard of, maybe you forgot, or maybe you've seen this movie, but just like, man, that is a good movie. I need to double back and check that out. So today we're going to talk about this movie. This movie came out when I was a kid, man, but top notch for me. It's another PG-13 movie. It came out in 2001, and the movie is Hardball. I know what you're saying, man. Hardball. Yes, this is a forgotten movie. It's a lot of hidden gems in there. It's a lot of reality in this movie. With inner city kids in Chicago, what they deal with, especially let's say life being tough, and you have betting and alcoholism. What those people go through like that. Who's in this movie? Keanu Reeves, man. He's one of my favorite actors from The Matrix. That's my favorite movie. So he's in this movie, so I'm almost going to like anything that he's in. And, there's other characters too. Michael B. Jordan's in this movie. Remember G-Baby? Everybody loves G-Baby, man. So he was the favorite character. And it gets sad too. So make sure you go check out Hardball. Make sure you go check out Old if you're interested. It just came out in theaters. But that's it for me, man. Back with another Cornbread movie review. If you like it, make sure you subscribe and share, please. And let me know what you think, man. Send me some more movie requests. I'm going to start knocking out some of those anyway. And TV shows, too. So I love y'all again. I'll holler at y'all next time.